Okay, I've been doing some contradiction Tuesdays, and I've gone up to number 6, but I keep getting some people putting in comments saying, firstly, they're the weak ones. Why are you doing those? And I just want to say this is not my list. This is the atheist list, and they're just going. I'm just going 1 to 30.
How about addressing why you're starting with the? Can help set the stage for your viewers.
Sorry, Cosmo's glitching out a little bit, but we'll crack on. And basically we've got someone that has written. He said at Morning Star Quest, this list certainly does not contain the hard ones. Well, I've only just started number 6. There's 439. It's going to be 8.5 years before I get to the end, but I don't know where you found it, but it is certainly mostly either obscure or reasonably harmonizable contradictions. So far he's saying, well, here's the contradictions, but you're getting the softballs and they're harmonizable. Perhaps, I'll start again. Perhaps you should start with some of the explicit, impossible to harmonize contradictions. And I think the first one he has got here, I kind of agree, but at the same time, I want to just go through this a little bit more.
Maybe you could address this directly in your next video, explaining your approach and the value of building before tackling the tougher contradictions. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. But we will crack on with this one. So, well, before we go too far, my name is Craig. This is Cosmo. This is Morning Star Quest. This is your journey through the Bible, one question at a time, and also one contradiction at a time, with Tuesdays. And I guess this one is a bit of an extra one. So, this one here, and I guess the question here is this question: if you think that it is a contradiction, then will this stop you from reading the Bible? Because
great intro, Craig.
Thank you.
It's about Quirinius, a historical contradiction. Let's dive into this and explore the details.
All right. Well, you're jumping ahead, but that's okay. For example, the birth story of Jesus. Specifically, how could he have been born in the reign of Herod and during the authority of Quirinius as governor? Now, Luke 2:1 verses 1 to 2 got it wrong, and Herod died 10 years before Quirinius took office. Now, I've put the extra Luke 2 there, but actually, Cosmo, can you read out Luke 2 verses 1 and 2, please? Oh, yeah, he's going to do it. It's all good.
Sure thing, Craig. Luke 2:1 to 2 says, "In those days issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius
was governor. Quirinius. Is that how you pronounce it? Quirinius? Oh, no, he's glitching out. Well, no, here we go.
It's pronounced Quirinius.
Quirinius. Okay, sorry. All right, so can you just set up the problem here? Because Luke 2 verses 1 and 2 are saying that King Herod and Quirinius were at the same time, but there seems to be a bit of a problem with this. Can you just set that up for us, please?
The issue here is that Luke 2:1-2 mentions a census during the time Quirinius was governor of Syria, but King Herod died in 4 BC, about 10 years before Quirinius took office around AD 6. Critics argue that this creates a historical contradiction because it seems impossible for Jesus to be born during both Herod's reign and Quirinius's governorship. This discrepancy raises questions about the accuracy of Luke's account.
Okay. Now, just one other thing here that I just want to make, obvious, that there are many Herods. There is Herod the Great, and this is the Herod that we're talking about. He had a few different wives, and then we had I think it's the tetrarchs, which means 4. So there was 4 Herods in Jesus's day, and it goes on from there. But we are just talking about Herod the Great here, aren't we? Hopefully he's there.
Yes.
Oh,
we
yes.
are specifically talking about Herod the Great, who ruled during the time of Jesus' birth and died in 4 BC. His descendants, including the tetrarchs, ruled different regions after his death.
Okay, so, all right, so let's just simplify it. We are talking about Herod the Great only, but Quirinius started his governorship 6 AD, but Jesus, everybody kind of says it's around 4
The contradiction
BC.
arises because Herod the Great died in 4 BC, but Quirinius began his governorship in AD 6, making it seem like they couldn't have been contemporaries during Jesus' birth.
All right, so that's obviously a contradiction, or it's, well, I guess to me it's a lack of knowledge, maybe. All right, but it's still a contradiction. We're not going to call it anything else. But what are some of the ways that people have in the past kind of tried to match this up and try to go, well, okay, maybe it's this, maybe it's that? I mean, is there anything we can, what people are saying?
There are several approaches people have taken to address this contradiction. First, some suggest that Luke might have referred to an earlier census that took place before Quirinius officially became governor. The Greek term translated as first can also mean before or prior, implying a census before AD 6. Second, there's a theory that Quirinius held some authority in Syria before his official governorship, perhaps as a military leader involved in an earlier census.
And
Third,
just on that, I think it's the Roman historian Tacitus. I think he mentioned Quirinius, not so much specifically with the times, but he did talk about that he was in the Senate and that he was an argumentative person. Is that right? Or are we there? Oh, hang on. All right. So, is there?
Glad we're back on track.
Hey.
Shall we continue with the possible explanations?
Well, what I want to do is go with Quirinius. I think the Roman historian Tacitus mentioned Quirinius, and that before he was governor, that he was in the Senate. Can you just go over that? And I think there was some stuff about him being argumentative or something like that, or not very well liked. Was anybody in history well liked? Well, I don't know.
Sure, Craig. Publius Sulpicius Quirinius was indeed a prominent Roman figure before he became governor of Syria. Tacitus, the Roman historian, mentioned Quirinius, noting that he had a significant military career and held various political positions, including being a senator. Quirinius was known for his military success, particularly his campaign against the Homanidenses in Asia Minor, which earned him a triumph. His career wasn't without controversy. He was seen as ambitious and sometimes abrasive, leading to tensions with other Roman elites. Despite these challenges, his reputation for administrative competence and military skill helped him rise to prominence. This background suggests he had substantial influence and responsibilities even before his official governorship, which might support the idea that he was involved in activities in Syria prior to 86.
Okay, so that's fine. And I guess there is a stone carving with some details. They call the Tivoli stone, and it has some details about him. What does that say?
The Tivoli stone, an ancient Roman inscription, provides valuable information about Quirinius. It confirms his involvement in significant administrative roles before his official governorship in AD 6. The stone records Quirinius's successful military campaigns and mentions his role as a legate of Syria. This supports the idea that he had authoritative responsibilities in the region prior to his formal appointment as governor, potentially aligning with Luke's account of a census during his earlier involvement.
But is governor and legate the same office?
No. They aren't exactly the same. A governor typically refers to the highest official in a province, while a legate is a general or commander of a legion and sometimes an envoy or deputy. Quirinius could have served as a legate in Syria, exercising significant authority before his official role as governor. This distinction might explain how he could have overseen a census or had notable administrative duties prior to 86.
So I guess, so it is possible, but it doesn't rule it in or out, would you say? I kind of feel like this could rule it in. But there's also, like with the, even though it is talking about
Yes,
Quirinius.
Possible, and offers applause. Quirinius's earlier role as a legate with significant authority in Syria could indeed support Luke's account of the census. While it doesn't definitively resolve the contradiction, it provides a reasonable scenario where Quirinius could have been involved in a census before his official governorship.
Okay. But yeah, like I said, it doesn't rule it in, but it doesn't rule it out. So it's kind of like, well, we just need more information and on this, because Luke, people are saying Luke got it wrong. With this Luke 2 verses 1 and 2, he got it wrong. The thing doesn't line up. It's wrong. But there's also another verse that Luke, everybody said about a king, and I can't remember his name, Lycurgus or something. And there's a king that could not have been at the time of Jesus' death. However, there was evidence uncovered that was the contrary, and they realised that Luke was true, saying the truth about this. Do you know anything about that king?
Yes, I believe you're referring to Lysanias. Critics initially claimed that Luke made an error in mentioning Lysanias the Tetrarch of Abilene, Luke 3:1, because the known Lysanias ruled until around 36 BC, long before Jesus' time. However, archaeological evidence later uncovered inscriptions proving that another Lysanias was indeed Tetrarch of Abilene during the time Luke mentioned, validating Luke's account. This shows that Luke's historical accuracy has been confirmed in cases where initial skepticism existed, suggesting that we should be cautious about dismissing his accounts too quickly.
So it could be another Quirinius, but evidence shows that it probably isn't. I'm not sure. But really, at the end of the day, it doesn't rule it in. It doesn't rule it out. Are you not going to believe the Bible?
Exactly. The possibility of another Quirinius or his earlier significant role provides a plausible explanation, but it's not conclusive. The evidence doesn't definitively confirm or deny the account in Luke 2:1 and 2. It suggests there could be more to the historical context that we don't fully understand yet.
And for me, this doesn't rule it in or out, but one thing that doesn't rule out, or everything is ruled in, is that Jesus did exist. This story of Jesus, even the Old Testament is foreshadowing Jesus thousands of years earlier, and finally Jesus does arrive on the scene. Today, even skeptics cannot deny that Jesus lived and died on the cross and was resurrected. They might go over little points here and there and say, yeah, this, but not that, and whatever. But the history shows that this is true. And that's what this channel is all about, because really, at the end of the day, this may be true or not. We don't know yet.
While there might be debates over specific details, the core truth of Jesus' existence and impact is well supported. Your channel is about exploring these questions and deepening understanding, regardless of the complexities we encounter along the way.
Over here, we've got some more topics. Thank you so much for mentioning that. And we've got more contradictions. We've got more things we're going to go through, more questions, one question at a time through the Bible. Go do something awesome for God, and we'll catch you in the next one. And it's over there. It's that one there. No, that one there. Go on, that one.